Ladies and gentlemen, the National Coalition's 45th anniversary celebration and 2021 Spirit Awards ceremony shall begin shortly. Please welcome our celebrity MC and moderator for the evening, Michelle, the Indie Mom of Comedy and NCBCP Senior Advisor for Cultural Expression, who has appeared on shows such as True TV's Laugh Mobs, Laugh Tracks, Martin Lawrence's Presents The First Amendment and Stand Up, and Nickelodeon's Search for the Funniest Mom in America 3, just to name a few. Please welcome Michelle.
Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the 45th annual anniversary, the 45th anniversary of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, welcome to the 45th anniversary celebration of the National Coalition's founding and the 24th annual Spirit of Democracy Awards. Tonight, we are honoring 9 very special national and community-based leaders who exemplify our theme, celebrating the diversity of our democracy. The Spirit of Democracy Award is the highest honor the National Coalition bestows upon leaders who are visionaries, trailblazers, organizers, and servant leaders in their fields. Tonight's honorees are making a difference in civil rights, business, labor, journalism, health, civic engagement, youth activism, racial, economic, and social justice. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Dee Marshall, founder of Girlfriends Pray and CEO of Diverse and Engaged, to bring our invocation and words of inspiration. Dee?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I am so excited to be here this evening and to celebrate and recognize these leaders and these trailblazers. And so, without further ado, let us give honor to God. In the spirit of democracy, we invite the Spirit into this place. In the spirit of democracy, we invite the Holy Spirit to rain down in this place. In the spirit of democracy, we invite God to dwell richly in this space. Although we are virtual, God, we acknowledge that you are God and you are sovereign and that you are omnipotent and that you are omniscient, oh God. God, Emmanuel, we invite you here today. And in the spirit of democracy, there is a word in Romans 13:7. It says, give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. And tonight we thank you, God, for allowing us to honor those foot soldiers, the generals, those on the ground, those who have given their lives to service. We thank you for these servant leaders because the word says in Romans 13:7, give to everyone what you owe. And in this season and in this moment, we are grateful to you, God, for the facilitator of this. We thank you for the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. We thank you for its leadership, Melanie Campbell. We thank you for its board chair, Thomas W. Dortch Jr. And we thank you for these generals because your word says, give to everyone what you owe them. If taxes, pay taxes to the government, to those who collect fees. And if it is respect, give respect and honor to those who deserve honor. And so we honor you tonight. We thank you, God, for being with us. It is in the mighty name of Jesus we pray. We say amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you, my sister, my friend. Thank you so much, D. Marshall, for the invocation. And at this time, we would like to thank our 45th anniversary partners and words of inspiration, 45th anniversary and sponsors for their support. Our executive producer title sponsors are Airbnb, AT&T, the Coca-Cola Company, Comcast NBC Universal, and National Education Association, as well as Verizon. Our marquee premier sponsor is AARP. Thank you so much. We are so grateful for your support. We'd like to welcome our executive producer level 45th anniversary partners and sponsors to bring greetings. First, Aaron B. will provide remarks.
Good evening, and congratulations to the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation on celebrating 45 years of increasing civic engagement and voter participation in Black and underserved communities. Airbnb is proud to be an executive producer of this year's Spirit of Democracy Awards and Intergenerational Leadership Roundtable. The National Coalition has been a vital organization for helping to amplify the power of Black women through the Black Women's Roundtable, helping to galvanize the youth vote through Black Youth Vote, and underscoring the importance of civic engagement and access to the franchise for all. At Airbnb, we believe that every vote is important, and we continue working to support equal access to the ballot box. As we celebrate tonight, I want to give a special acknowledgement to NCBCP's President and CEO, Melanie Campbell. Melanie's leadership has gone from congressional halls to the National Mall as she's advocated for progress with elected officials and activated the activists who speak truth to power. And from the suites to the streets, as she talks to corporate entities and engages disheartened citizens to help inspire and empower them. At Airbnb, we have had the privilege of working with Melanie since 2016 as part of our Civil Rights Roundtable. Her voice is a vital part of our dialogue with our leaders, and we're grateful for the impact she has made as we continue to make our community more inclusive. Tonight is not only about the Coalition's 45th anniversary, it's also about the leader who has harnessed the power of the organization for decades. We salute your leadership, Mel. I also want to acknowledge Chairman Thomas Dortch, the Board of Directors, and the entire National Coalition family. We congratulate tonight's honorees: Donna Epps from Verizon, Alba Balin from Coca-Cola, April Ryan, Dr. Jahan Gigi El Boyoumi, Deborah Scott from Georgia Stand Up, Georgia Black Youth Vote, Mary Pat Hector, Jared Sawyer, and Ariel Singleton, the Michigan Black Women's Roundtable state affiliates, Tamika Ramsey and Stephanie Williams, Derek Johnson of NAACP, Liz Schuler, and Congresswoman Karen Bass. We look forward to continuing to work with the National Coalition and Black Women's Roundtable to protect and advance the right to vote. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for those remarks. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our leader, Ms. Melanie L. Campbell, President and CEO of NCBCP, convener of the Black Women's Roundtable, to bring remarks, and who will present the President's Leadership Circle Awards tonight. Melanie?
It is greetings. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the National Coalition's founding. On May 5th, 1976, 11 years after the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the National Coalition was established by the AFL-CIO, NAACP, Joint Center for Economic and Political Studies, and 35 national organizations to build a coalition whose mission was to increase Black voter participation and political power, protect the right to vote, and remove barriers to the ballot box. Today, 45 years later, we are not only continuing to increase Black voter participation year round, 365 days a year, we are once again fighting for our voting rights, pushing back against a tsunami of voter suppression laws that have been passed in 19 states by leading the Black Women and Allies Voting Rights and Economic Justice Campaign in partnership with the National Council of Negro Women and over 60 national and state-based multiracial, multi-ethnic organizations and intergenerational leaders. For over 4.5 decades, the National Coalition expanded our mission and evolved to address the challenges of the times. That includes empowering Black women and girls to live their best lives through the Black Women's Roundtable, invest in the next generation of Black civic engagement leaders through Black Youth Vote, and gathering of Black men and boys, and achieving historic Black voter turnout throughout our Unity, Black voting, and power building campaigns. And every 10 years, we also do our Unity campaign around the decennial census to make sure our community is counted. Last year, we launched the Rebuild Hope, Justice, Equity, and Equality Project to address the current racial, economic, health, and social justice challenges facing our nation, with a special emphasis on the South, where over 60% of the Black population lives, and the National Coalition has a significant presence through our state affiliates and partners in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Ohio, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, DC, and Virginia. One of the key components of the Rebuild Hope and Justice Project is to establish the National Coalition's Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Civic Engagement, Leadership Development, Economic, and Social Justice Southern Institute. And we're calling it the Southern Institute for short, and our Southern Regional Office that will be anchored on the campus of Clark Atlanta University. And we are excited to announce tonight that just last week, we signed an MOU with Clark Atlanta University and will launch the Institute in February 2022 during Black History Month. So stay tuned for exciting details. Further tonight, we gather to celebrate the past, give thanks to our Creator for the present, and pray for an even brighter future for the organization. In closing, we are grateful to God to have the opportunity to celebrate, lift up, and honor a dynamic group of servant leaders who epitomize our theme, as been said earlier, celebrating the diversity of our democracy. And we gather to thank our 80 national membership organizations, our board of directors, our state affiliates and partners, our staff and professional team, volunteers, and each of you for your leadership, your partnership, and support. And thank you to all who are tuning in to celebrate this monumental moment with us tonight. We also thank Roland Martin Unfiltered for serving as our media partner again this year. And thank you all again for tuning in tonight. So let's get started by presenting our President's Leadership Circle Spirit of Democracy Awards and our Ruby Campbell Pulliam Love You More Award to our 2021 honorees. I am so excited to introduce this year's President's Leadership Circle honorees. For 22 years, we have gathered at a venue in Washington, D.C. and presented our awards. But in light of COVID-19 pandemic that's still with us, last year and again this year, we gather virtually to celebrate the contributions of these leaders. So now we will start with our first honoree. It is my honor to introduce Ms. Elizabeth Schuler, President of AFL-CIO, Liz, virtually.
Yes.
I guess put both of us up. I hope you can see this Spirit of Democracy Award.
Yay!
That
Beautiful.
a blue flame that represents what we believe just really stands for what it means when we talk about our democracy, and that the blue soothing and calm, and you represent that, but you're also a firebrand.
I love it.
So, Liz, it is my pleasure again to virtually to present this to you as our NCBC President's Leadership Circle Award for Labor and Social Justice, for your visionary leadership in the labor, economic, gender, and social justice movements. We want to salute you for your commitment to racial and gender equity, fairness, and equality for working people, women, immigrants, LGBTQ+, and people of color, and again, all people, quite frankly, in the labor movement. We would also like to recognize you for your commitment to transformational social change for Black and Indigenous people in the fight for justice and inspiring hope for future generations to pursue their dreams. Thank you, Liz. And I wish I could be there. Feel the hug, feel the love. And
Me too.
we look forward to having a conversation with you in a couple of minutes to just really share a lot about what you're doing. And thank you for accepting this award and being able to do it in this virtual space tonight. And again, looking forward to being on the battlefield with you as we push for good, like Don Lewis said, get in good trouble with you in 2022. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much. So honored.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, it is my honor to present our next award to Ms. Deborah Scott, CEO, Georgia Stand Up and State Partner for the National Coalition's Black Women's Roundtable, Black Youth Vote, and our Unity campaigns. Deborah.
Hi. Melanie.
So this is virtually tonight. The award, of course, that you all will receive in the mail, shipped, because it is something that can shatter.
Very
so
nice.
Get that to your address that you provided. But Deborah, it is truly my honor to recognize you for your vision, your exceptional servant leadership, advocacy, and commitment to empowering and equipping the next generation of servant leaders and organizers with tools, mentorship, and career opportunities to live out their dreams and aspirations to make a difference in their communities, our nation, and world. We are also, Deborah, honoring you for your dedication and transformational leadership in achieving social change for and with the people of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, the South, nationally, and every now and then you get a little global within there too, including civil rights, racial justice, voting rights, fighting voter suppression, fighting for workers' rights, affordable housing, environmental justice, health equity, job training and employment, gender justice, criminal justice reform, and so much more. And besides just being my classmate too, I got to throw that in there.
And your jail buddy, your jail buddy.
A joy to be on this battlefield with you.
Thank you.
From way back when and to now. And I know we will win having you in leadership. So thank you, Deborah. And we'll be back with you in a minute.
Thank you,
have
Marlene.
a nice conversation
Thank
for
you.
you all to share a little more about what you're doing.
Thank
you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Now, it is my honor to present our next award to Tamika Ramsey, convener of the Michigan Coalition on Black Civic Participation and Eastern Michigan Metro Detroit Black Women's Roundtable. Tamika, we are pleased to present you with this President's Leadership Circle Award for the 2021 being our State Affiliate of the Year for your outstanding leadership, establishing the Michigan Coalition on Black Civic Participation to increase Black civic engagement, women and girls empowerment, entrepreneurship, youth civic leadership development, and so much more across in Metro Detroit, in Pontiac, across the state of Michigan, and you as well, even nationally. Thank you for all you do, and we love you and appreciate you and all of your folks that you work with in Michigan, and we thank you, and we will be back to you in a minute to share a little more. You can share a little more about the great work that you're doing. Love you and appreciate you, my sister.
Thank you. This is an honor, Melanie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, it is my honor to present our next award to Miss Stephanie Williams, convener of Kalamazoo Black Women's Roundtable with our state partner, Mothers of Hope. Stephanie.
Hello, Melanie. It's so great to be here with you.
Thank you, sister. It gives me great pleasure to present. I know you're on the road, so I'm glad you could make it. To present you as of the second half of being our State Partner of the Year Leadership Award for your outstanding leadership and helping to establish the Michigan Coalition on Black Civic Participation and all the work that you do through Black Women's Roundtable, Mothers of Hope, and you partner, both of you all do, with so many folks to lift up our young people. I remember when you were Black You Vote, not long ago, right? But
yes,
all what you're doing, you all are doing, responding to COVID-19 and all of the challenges that are taking place in our community, for being spent many years as a public servant and the work that you did with that and never lost the touch of being an organizer. And I thank you, my sister. And I know there are even more greater things happening in Michigan because they have Stephanie and Tamika handling business. And so we're going to thank you, send you much love. And then if you just hold on a little while, we're going to come bring you all back for a wonderful panel discussion with our President's Leadership Circle honorees. Love you. Be safe and enjoy your trip. Next, last and certainly not least, we are excited to honor Black You Vote Georgia leaders led by 3 dynamic young leaders. But we will first start with Mary Pat Hector. Mary Pat, I know you a long ways away from home right now, and we appreciate you being up in the crack of dawn, not even crack of dawn, before crack of dawn, to accept this award. It has been my pleasure and honor to present you, Mary Pat, with this award for taking Black You Vote and many other leadership projects that you've been doing over the years that I've known you to another level with your colleagues and all those young people that you all put in. You all made the difference in 2020. You were doing it before, but you took it to the stratosphere in 2020, and you have not gotten off the battlefield since then. So I thank you. It's just an honor to honor you all, and just a little token to say thank you. And it'll be in your mailbox when you get home or with your mom. But I want to thank you for all that you do, for your outstanding advocacy in the modern civil rights, economic and social justice movement, and youth community empowerment, the work you do around violence prevention work, and so much more. And I'm just looking forward to seeing your star shine even brighter. Because what you do when your star shines, you don't just shine for Mary Pat. You shine it so the one come behind you can see that light and move forward with you. So thank you and love you. And we'll be tuning you into this intergenerational conversation in just a couple of minutes. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And our next Black Youth Vote honoree is Mr. Reverend Jared Sawyer Jr., who helps to lead, and he is one of our other Georgia Black Youth Vote state coordinators in partnership through HBCU Green Fund, Clayton County Black Women's Roundtable. Jared?
Thank you so much.
And so, Jared, I am delighted to honor you for your outstanding leadership, coalition building, and organizing impact in increasing Black youth civic engagement, voter participation, and issue organizing in the state of Georgia. We also want to recognize you for your exceptional leadership and outstanding advocacy in the modern day civil rights, economic, and social justice movements. I want to thank you for your leadership as a faith leader, social justice leader in Georgia, nationally and globally. You guys are rocking it. I feel pretty good. When I get ready to put my boots up, and I don't know if you can, but at least change my boots, I'll know that we are in great hands with you and your team and your leadership through Black Youth Vote and so much more. So thank you. And we'll tune you in just a second with Michelle for this Intergenerational Leadership Roundtable. Thank you, Jared. And we love you.
Thank you.
And you'll get it in the mail.
Yes, ma'am.
Last and certainly not least, our next Black Youth Vote honoree is Ariel Singleton, who's a Georgia state coordinator with Black Youth Vote and also executive organizer for Georgia Stand Up. Ariel? Hi
Thank
there.
you so much.
Ariel, it is with great joy that we honor you for your outstanding leadership, your coalition building, and organizing impact in increasing Black youth civic engagement, voter participation, and issue organizing in the state of Georgia. We also want to recognize you for your exceptional leadership and outstanding advocacy in this modern day civil rights movement, social justice, economic justice movement. I've watched you from afar and sometimes from a near. And I appreciate you that, we get weary and tired, but we are no ways falling out in the fight. We're going to get a little rest, but we're going to keep fighting. And I appreciate you all coming up here, all three of you all, and coming up here with your state conveners and our partners and Helen Butler and Felicia Davis and Deborah Scott and all you all bring. It was good to see you all over these months as we all keep fighting and then fighting in the States as well. We just wanted to find a way to let you all know that we thank you and we love you and appreciate you. So hold on, stay tuned, and we'll bring you back for the Intergenerational Leadership Roundtable. And now it is my pleasure and honor to bring on Reverend Dr. Judith C. Moore to present our next award to Dr. Gigi. And so, my sister, I'm going to turn it over to you to give the Ruby Campbell Pulliam Love You More Award to Dr. Gigi, which is one of our special awards that we have. We started in 2012 in honor of Ruby Campbell Pulliam, who was not just our sister, but also she was a leader and a part of the coalition family who organized with us Quiet Storm. And so the board set this award up every year for us to honor someone in the Washington, D.C. area who works either locally or globally or whatever it is. They're based in the Washington, D.C. metro area, and we continue that tradition. So thank you for joining us to present this award to Dr. Gigi.
Thank you so much, Ms. Campbell and my sister. On behalf of the National Coalition and the Campbell family, it is my honor to present Dr. Gigi, founding director of Rodham Institute at George Washington University, with the 2021 Ruby Campbell Pulliam Love You More Health Justice Leadership Award for your leadership and commitment to health equity, social change, women's empowerment, and community service in the Washington, D.C. metro area and nationally. Dr. Gigi, we would like to also recognize you for the vision in founding the Rodham Institute that is dedicated to achieving health equity by investing in the next generation of minority health care professionals and developing programs and initiatives that are rooted in underserved communities that focus on addressing the social detriments of health. On a personal note, we thank you so much, Dr. Gigi, for all you've done for our sister Melanie Campbell. And for that, you become an honorary member of the Campbell family. We thank you so much for all you do around COVID-19 as she was going through that period, and for all you do on an everyday basis to ensure all people receive the best quality care. Thank you so much, Dr. Gigi.
Why, thank you. Wow. I really appreciate it, and I'm very humbled by this. But I just have one question for you and Ms. Melanie. So this is all virtual. Does that mean that when we do meet together that I can be invited and see you and have something to drink and eat and hug you? Is that what it means? Thank you so much. All kidding aside, I really appreciate it. I'm humbled.
Thank you. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to join you as your moderator for the President's Leadership Circle Honorees Roundtable. Thank you, Melanie and the National Coalition, for the invitation. And thank you all for joining us this evening. First, I want to congratulate all of you as recipients of the National Coalition's Spirit of Democracy President's Leadership Circle Award tonight. Congratulations. You all are so deserving. So let's get our panel in here. Let's get our panel going, and I will be excited to moderate and begin the questions. I'll be looking forward to that. So I'm going to start off with the first question, and I believe our panel is all ready to join me with our first question. I see you guys coming in, all of our panelists. Again, we're just so excited to be here. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Tamika. So excited. Congratulations. Hello, Dr. Gigi again. Hello, Ariel. Hello, Stephanie. Hello. Congratulations again and again. Hello, Liz. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to moderate this portion. I believe we're waiting for Jared. And Jared's on audio. So Jared is here. And I think Mary Pat, she is in Dubai. So let's be a little tender. Oh, you're still awake. Mary Pat, you're amazing. You're still awake. Oh my gosh. So let me ask you, we're going to start off with the first question. And we have someone else on the panel. I think that's Jared coming in. But nevertheless, let's get started. So the first question for all my honorees and my panelists, tell us a little bit about what it means to you to receive this year's President Leadership Circle 2021. That was good. 2021 Spirit of Democracy Award. And each of you just take 1 minute. Deborah, what does it mean to you, Deborah?
Well, first of all, I'm just honored and thrilled. It's like my life is coming in full circle with Liz, who I absolutely love and adore, and so proud that she is now representing labor. So we have Liz on one hand, we have Melanie on the other, and Ariel, and everyone else in between. I see my life in this box. But first of all, I just want to thank you. You know, we don't do this work for appreciation. We do it because it needs to be done. And we know that if it was easy, everyone would do it. So, but it's an honor to be honored by your peers and by your friends and folks that are willing to get down in the dirt with you. We have done a lot as a coalition together, but we're going to do more. So I'm looking forward to 2022. So what this means to me is we get a little rest over the holidays, and then we have to come back and work even harder. So it just gives us that extra boost of energy. So thank you so much for acknowledging our work.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to do a round robin. Tamika, what does this mean to you? I know you're a servant leader, but what does it mean to you representing and getting that amazing award for the state of Michigan?
Receiving this award to me means the life of my ancestors and the sacrifice of my family did not go in vain. I'm not standing here because I alone was able to do this work. I am standing here because of the sacrifices of individuals like our ancestors, Harriet Tubman, my parents who moved from Mississippi to offer our family a better life, my husband, Michael, who takes care of our family when I am in DC, getting arrested or threats of getting arrested, and my children, Quaviante, Zakiah, and Michael, who love and appreciate, but also are the reason that I continue to fight as hard as I do, because I'm hoping that this fight will end with my generation and not pass this on to the next. So I am here and I am thankful for this award because the sacrifices of my ancestors and my family is not in vain. Thank you.
Outstanding. Now I see all of your faces. I see all of your faces now. So Dr. Gigi, what does this award mean to you? Can you just share just 1 minute, just share with us, what does it mean to get this reward?
Well, I'm from the African continent. I'm from Egyptian heritage. I'm of Egyptian heritage. And there's nothing that equals the pain and suffering and the experience of members of the African diaspora. So to be honored by a group from the African diaspora for services to the African diaspora is unparalleled to me. I'm humbled, and I'm here to continue to serve. And thank you.
Oh, Dr. Gigi. Dr. Gigi, we love you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Gigi. I love how you made it very clear that you are from the African continent. And I think people misunderstand often when we say Egypt. They think it's a different place. It's in Africa.
Wait a second. I do have to add, we get put as honorary white so that our heritage, our civilization, all the things that ancient Egypt and ancient Egyptians have done can be co-opted. I'll make it very clear, we are not white. We reject being honorary whites. We are African in shades of the rainbow, but we are African nevertheless.
Thank you so much. That's why we love you, Dr. Gigi. That's exactly why we love you. Ariel, what does it mean? Give me 1 minute. What does it mean to get this award tonight?
This means so much to me. I mean, I'm just overjoyed just being able to sit at the hymns and be a part of such an amazing group, and watching other individuals that are directly over me, watching the greats of Deborah Scott and Miss Melanie Campbell, and knowing the history that is brought through, the reason why they're going, like the C.T. Vivians and the John Lewises. It just gives me so much joy, especially having my family, my mom, my dad, my brother, and my village around, being able to support me to continue doing the work that I do, and being able to literally have a Sankofa moment and go back and really understand why I'm doing what I do when it comes to my grandparents, Joe Singleton, Shirley Singleton, and Annette Lusk. It just gives me so much joy to be able to be here in this moment.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Thank you so much, and we honor you. Stephanie, what does this mean to you? What does it mean?
This is so inspiring. Growing up in Black Youth Vote, sitting at the feet of Melanie Campbell for well over 20 years and really learning what it means to be a change agent, to be on the ground, impacting and supporting other activists, organizers, and especially other Black women is so inspiring to other women, particularly younger women who are doing this work, who sometimes get weary, but this is a moment where it's an affirmation that don't grow weary in doing good work and getting into good trouble. So I really think the experience with Black Youth Vote, Black Women's Roundtable, being able to be under the leadership of Melanie Campbell and to work with sisters like Tamika and everybody that's here. This is so amazing. But what's more important is the fruit of our labor. What's happening in our states, the lives that are changing, the powerful women who are going forward and changing our democracy is everything to me in our community.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much. And we honor you tonight. Jared, what does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're saying something wonderful. We want to hear it.
I think for me, it means both inspiration and encouragement. Inspiration because of who's giving it to me. Melanie Campbell is one of my sheroes, and I'm surrounded by sheroes. Helen Butler has reminded us repeatedly last year that this is our Selma moment. And so to consider in thought, but see manifest in reality, the fact that the works that we are putting towards social justice and the efforts towards equity and equality and so forth, it is inspiring to know that the efforts that we're making is being seen. And on the second end, I'm encouraged. And I must come from a spiritual lens because I am a preacher. And as I'm receiving this award, I'm reminded of Galatians 6:9 that tells us that we ought not to be weary in well-doing and good doing, but that in due season, in proper season, we're going to reap if we do not give up. And so I'm encouraged today to not give up, to keep on keeping on, as the older saints would say, to be reminded that ultimately at the end of the day, the universe will bend towards justice. So I am both inspired by those who've been doing the work far longer than I have even been introduced to it. And I'm encouraged to continue to do the work because at the end of the day, God is on our side.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jared. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I love how you don't mind being the only man on the screen. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Mary Pat, you are in Dubai. What does it mean to be receiving this award and you're not even in the United States as we speak? What does that mean to you?
Yes. Well, I will say that for me, I attended my first NCBC or my first Black Women's Roundtable conference when I was literally in elementary school. And so now to be receiving this honor is extremely humbling for me because I kind of grew up in this organization alongside Helen Butler, who serves as my state convener for Black Youth Vote. So I'm extremely honored to receive this honor, and I'm happy to continue to work alongside people like Jared and Ariel to continue the great work.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for that. Look, that's to the point, to the point, to the point. Liz, last but not least, and I have two more questions for each of you, but Liz, what does this mean to you? What does this mean to you?
Wow, what a powerhouse group of awardees, first of all. And I am absolutely honored to accept this award on behalf of the 12.5 million members of the AFL-CIO, all those frontline workers who have suffered so much to make sure that we're cared for, fed, have the services we need through this pandemic. So that's who I'm thinking of. And I too want to say a word about Melanie, just incredible. And the NCBCP for the partnership that we've grown over the years and for being bold in your leadership. Everyone knows there was a democracy summit that the Biden-Harris administration had. I think it was last week. And it made me think that the coalition's been out there fighting to protect our democracy for decades, and the rest of the country is finally getting the memo But we want labor's voice to be very, very clear that we have a choice, and the labor movement chooses democracy, and having a say at the ballot box, having a say in our economic future and our working conditions, and standing together, and that the labor movement chooses to fight with all of you for racial and gender justice and ending workplace discrimination and growing economic power. So that's what this means to me and to us.
Outstanding. And thank you for standing with us. Thank you so much, Liz. Each of you guys have impacted our nation in profound and impactful ways through your leadership, your organizing, your power building, your mentorship, and community service. During these unprecedented times and challenging times, to say the least, with a raging global pandemic, racial unrest, and historic attacks on voting rights and democracy, what, if anything, did you have to incorporate, because you had to do something to change in your approach to your work? What did you have to do? So give me a 1 to 2 minute response. You guys had to do something. You had to pivot. So let's start with you, Dr. Gigi. What did you have to do in health justice to pivot, to change?
Well, I think we have always been community minded, but what we had to do was take care of people and serve them even more. So by being engaged, we're not just there to stand with people when things are going well. We're there to stand with people when things are difficult. COVID has been awful. Washington, D.C. is the 7th in the country in terms of African American deaths from COVID. And of course, we had the double whammy of having the previous administration, but also the January 6th insurrection. So we were kind of in the eye of the storm. It was, and without it being peaceful, it was just in the midst of all this havoc. So it actually caused us to redouble our efforts in finding out what people's needs are and to work and clasp hands. I believe very strongly in collaborations and consortia. We now have over 160 partners, community partners. We distributed 560,000 masks and hand sanitizers during COVID, served 3,000 meals, had endless webinars. But all of that is meaningless if you don't have your heart and really stand and respect the dignity of the people that you're serving. So we had to pivot just like everybody else and to not run away, but run towards the crisis that is the pandemic of COVID. And what I want to remind people is that, all the other illnesses have not gone away. As a matter of fact, we're losing ground in terms of the health disparities. They're increasing and increasing. And finally, to say that being part of the Black Coalition Against COVID, which is a national organization, has helped to sort of elevate our work and share best practices, where it's the community leaders that are actually the ones front and center leading and engaging communities. I think that's just the key. And it's just accelerating and doing more of what we've been doing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gigi. That question is for each of you. Ariel, from a Black Youth Vote perspective, I'm going to ask you guys, Ariel, Mary Pat, and Jared, collectively, one behind the other, what'd you have to do different? You function on campus, you function in the HBCU space, you function in the community space. What'd you have to do this work? Ariel?
I think we had to double down on faith and tenacity. I think it was expected as youth leaders and as young leaders to really push through. And we really did have to double down on that faith, that tenacity, that everything was going to be okay. And that by faith or by might, this was something that had to happen. We had to get youth involved. We had to get just the community involved. And it was so great having Mary Pat and Jared. We were able to lean on each other and really figure out how we were going to do so. And so I think just being able to not only double down on the tenacity and faith, but also lean on each other and really find strength in each other in a moment in times where it seems like strength was getting weakened around nationally and internationally. That is what was able to make us pivot and push through.
Awesome. Mary Pat?
Yes. One thing that I would say is that we had to rely a lot on virtual, and on the virtual space. A lot of a lot of organizing that we're used to takes place in person,
Sure.
but we really had to adjust and become more virtual. And I think that's one thing that I can highlight. Jared?
Unmute, Jared.
My apologies.
No worries.
Absolutely. I can't speak for everyone, but I had to pray. And I had to be reminded of the fact that God, or that this was a spiritual movement in the same way that it was a spiritual movement back in the day, that God is on our side. I had to shift gears to be reminded that this is a spiritual movement and that God was calling for a spiritual awakening and that it was going to come out of this next generation. And so when I did this, this became my confidence. And I believe that for many that understood that this was something in which, the universe was bending towards justice and equity and freedom, that he that hath begun, as scripture tells us, a great work, and you will be faithful to perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. And so I had to be reminded and encouraged that I didn't start it, that God started it. And because he that hath begun a great work in us, he will make it happen. And so I believe that that was the trajectory shift that had to happen. I had to be reminded that at the end of the day, God started what we have entered into and that he's going to finish it until we see justice on this side of heaven.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So well said, Jared. I'm going to ask these last three ladies, Deborah, Tamika, Stephanie, Liz, what did you have to do different? Because you had to do something different. Deborah, what did you do different at Georgia Stand Up? You're muted. We want to hear you.
So first of all, thank you again. And thank you to Melanie and Tommy for doing all that you've done over the years. Having grown up in this movement, I see all of this as a full circle moment. And so what we had to do is what we have to do all the time is shift and pivot. We had to understand that, although we might have had plans to do a lot of things in person, we had to do it virtually, but which means we had to make sure our community was okay. So on our calls, when we started calling our communities, we put Black women on the phone with other Black women. And we first asked how they were doing and what they needed. So whether they needed food or COVID-19 tests or vaccines or to get their communities registered to vote. We started with the human touch. And that's what we've always done, but we just had to do more of that. So a Miss Jackson talking to a Miss Johnson was real. And so we shifted and pivoted and we moved forward. But we also, in the midst of that, we began work on our new movement center that we're going to open on January 13th. We're so excited, but we knew if we built it, they will come. So we continued to work. We had not one COVID-19 case out of our office. We registered hundreds of thousands of people to vote. We did over 1 million plus calls. We did a lot of work to help this collective movement to shift Georgia. And so we're prepared to do it again. So what we would say is shift and pivot and move forward.
Awesome. Awesome. Stephanie, what'd you do in Michigan? What'd you do to pivot?
I think we had to dig down deep and remind ourselves of our resilience. What we've been through, how we've always made it through, and how we had to check on our people first. We had to make sure everybody was good, whether if it was calling, texting, knocking on the door, and then even going virtual and figuring out all those hurdles as well. And then once we realized our people was good, they had access to everything we need, then we started going to the folks who hadn't been checking on us so that we can make them start writing some checks to us. And that was the whole advocacy piece, making sure that we had access to PPE, making sure that we had access to healthcare access, good healthcare, and not being discriminated against during this pandemic where we were already hurting, when we know that when America gets a cold, Black folks catch pneumonia, and we wasn't having it. We had every home remedy, every healer, every Black woman healer on the front line, touching, hugging, loving our children, our families, our men, so that we can stay healthy and we can do this work. And that's what this is all about. This is showing the world who we are, not just our magic, but the power within her, Black women who can do this work and sustain our communities at the same time.
Outstanding. Thank you, Stephanie. Tamika, you're on the other side of Michigan. What'd you do to pivot?
You know what? I just think what Deborah and Stephanie said is a testament to Black Women's Roundtable, because we did what we have always done. We just did more of it, and it is connecting with our people. It is calling and checking on them and making sure they had tissue and diapers and cleaning supplies before we started talking about politics. Because if we don't care if you're alive, how are you going to vote? And I think Black Women's Roundtable across this country are known for having relationships with their people. And so when you call someone and ask them if they have food or if their lights are on or if they have tissue or diapers, when it's time to go out and vote, they're picking up the phone when you call. And so we worked really, really hard to make sure, because this is our family, these are our communities, this is our neighbors, and we're not talking about somebody who's two states over. We're talking about somebody who's right next door, and if they need something, can come knock on our doors. So once again, I think Deborah and Stephanie said it amazingly. But more than that, I think this is a testament to Black Women's Roundtable and the National Coalition, because these are things that we were taught from a long time ago. And it's nothing new to us, because we know this is how we organize our people. Thank you.
Outstanding. Liz, I need to hear from you. What did you guys do? All 12 million of you. What did you do to pivot during these really uncertain times? You're on mute, Liz.
You think we'd know by now. You used the words, I think at the beginning, unprecedented and challenging, and those are so right. We've been through so much. We're still weathering the worst ever global pandemic, health crisis, constant attacks to our democracy, gerrymandering, redistricting, laws that are preventing workers from having a say in our economic future. And through all of that, we did have to, yes, try some new tactics. We know, the laws that are suppressing voters from having a voice at the ballot box. We know the groups that are most affected by all of these tactics we've been seeing, communities of color, including immigrants and indigenous peoples. It's not an accident, by the way. It's a concerted effort. We know this by some to diminish our power. But we actually changed some things, but we also doubled down on what we knew worked. Right? Marching, getting out there and organizing for racial and economic justice, getting in the streets, caravanning in our cars when we knew that during the pandemic, it was not as safe to be in crowds, right? Well, let's get in our vehicles and let's go circle the Capitol and make sure that we're getting that COVID relief. We mobilized record numbers of working people to vote using different tactics, but again, all that relational organizing. And we're going to keep doing that as we're confronting racism, sexism, extremism, bigotry, the disinformation that is threatening our democracy. And we saw the attempted coup of the Capitol, the white supremacy, anti-Semitism, the rise of anti-Asian violence. So all that to say that I truly believe heart and soul that the labor movement can be that powerful force for progress, a place, a center of gravity where we bring people together to have those difficult conversations so that we can reach our full potential, as a counterforce to racism and hate, because that's how we build power. And so that has not changed.
Right. Liz, so well said. Thank you so much. This is the last question for the panel. And let me just say, you all have been absolutely poignant. Every point is absolutely point and spot on. This last question is, how are you paying it forward? What lessons can you share with future leaders who aspire to be leaders and change agents to achieve equality, equity, and justice for their communities, to live their best lives? Because you got to pay it forward, ladies and gents. We have to. So as young people, and I'm interested to know, Black Youth Vote leaders, How are you guys paying it forward to your generation or just to your community in general? How are you doing that? Let's start with Mary Pat.
Yeah, for me, ways in which I'm paying it forward. I often think about women like Helen Butler and others that have always, I guess, oftentimes when you mentor people, right, you want to ensure that they're not making mistakes in which you are. And they've always ensured that I or other young people are provided opportunities and things that maybe they weren't. And so ways in which I'm paying it forward is that I'm creating and making spaces for other young people who oftentimes have not been brought to that table, or may not have had the support when it comes to organizing, as I once did, as a young organizer. So those are ways in which I believe I'm paying it forward.
Awesome. Jared, how are you? Okay, I don't see you, but Ariel, how are you paying it forward?
Yeah, but I think Mary Pat hit it on the head. Actually having these great leaders that have.
Oh boy. And this is the beauty and the gift of technology. You are so beautiful. We're gonna move on. Jared, let's help out your Georgia colleague. How are you paying it forward, my friend?
By just reminding my peers to be consistent, be intentional, and be real. Believe that he that has begun a great work in you will be faithful to perform it. You're going to make it. God has no respect to person. What he's done for others, he'll do for you. And so just be consistent, be intentional, be real, and everything is going to work out for you. That's been the way that I've been able to pay it forward, by just communicating that message to as many people as possible that are my peers, that are confused and wondering, what is it that I can do to contribute to this movement?
Outstanding. Outstanding. So ladies, my Michigan ladies, what are you ladies doing in Michigan to pay it forward? What are you doing, Stephanie?
So definitely I transferred all of the knowledge and skills that I had to other sisters. Last year, we saw a record number of Black women run for office and win. We saw a record number of women serving in boards and commissions and committees, nonprofit organizations, being in places and spaces where we had been left out of for so long. And then most importantly, Michelle, is self-care, talking to each other about how we take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, physically, so that we can do this work as well as take care of our families, especially our partners and our mates. And then really making sure that our space with Black Youth Vote is one that's welcoming, that's accessible, that our young people have the opportunity to sit at the feet of the Melanie Campbells and Deborah Scotts and Tamika Ramseys, as the rest of us do, and grow our Black Women's Roundtable chapter. We are looking to bring in more and more sisters. We're going to go from Kalamazoo, Michigan to Washington, D.C. to all over this country until real change has come.
So quickly, Tamika, because we're getting to the very end. Can you share how you're paying it forward? And then Deborah. And then from Deborah and Tamika, we're going to go to Dr. Gigi and Liz, and then we're going to close out the panel. So Tamika, quickly.
So once again, one of our amazing ancestors said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And Sister Maya really said that. And what it is that we can show people, and Melanie has been able to show people that we care, and we will continue to. And so just as she invested in me, I will continue to invest in our Black Youth Votes, and invest in Black women across this country to make sure that they have the resources to show up. Thank you.
Absolutely. Deborah?
So I am because we are, and because we are, therefore I am. So we live a life of service. And so just as our elders have seeded into me and Melanie from college on going forward, we are seeding into the next generation. And that's our goal, because we have to magnify this work. We have to multiply this work. And so I'm so proud of Ariel and Mary Pat and Jared just for continuing this work and working alongside of us. But it also is upon all of us to keep multiplying ourselves. So our goal this year is to educate more and more young people, to get them involved into this movement. And I just want to have a point of personal privilege. A lot of people would not know our name without Mary Pat sending a text after people had given other people a whole lot of credit for what happened here in Georgia. She said, but wait, there's some other people who did something. And I just want to thank you, Mary Pat, because that's how you paid it forward, because you paid it back. So we thank you. And I want to yield the balance of my time to Ariel because she got cut off.
Well, I love how you became the moderator. Nobody asked you to yield time, but you know what? Ariel, you got 30 seconds, my beautiful, amazing sister. And then we have to wrap up with Dr. Gigi and Liz. I certainly want to hear from you. And you're on mute. So Ariel, we cannot hear you. Try one more time and then we're going to have to move on. Okay. So Ariel, I'm sorry. We have to move forward. We have to. Dr. Gigi, how are you paying it forward?
I think to show up as my real and authentic self, and because this is hard work, and sometimes younger people can see those with more gray hair and kind of glamorize us, but I'm a human being. I think it's important to be vulnerable to our younger people so that they can see that we're not perfect in any way, and to always be in touch with one's humanity and to be decent and loving and kind.
Absolutely. Thank you. Liz? And Liz, you're muted now. This is musical mute. This is musical music. This is musical muted chairs. So Ariel,
I am off mute.
There you go, Liz. Let's go. Let's go.
And I'm so sorry. But what I would just say is, if you can see it, you can be it, right? When a woman sees another woman thriving in a career, you can that woman can see herself doing the same thing. And it's how we shatter stereotypes. It's, when I got my start in the labor movement, I was mobilizing and organizing for equity because I was working at an electric utility company in Portland, Oregon, where the clerical workers, who were all women, weren't treated the same or treated with respect like the power line men. And I say men because they were all men. And the difference was the men were in the union and they had a voice and they had power. And together then we as women said, you know what, we want to make this change. So we organized. And so what I saw is women sticking together is a pretty powerful thing. And in terms of, now in my role at the AFL-CIO, I just think of it as a simple but very important strategy that working with and standing on the shoulders of the women in our movement is powerful. And so the lesson here, and I would say, that we're passing on, is that network of support. Finding that group of people who are going to lift each other up and help each other step into those roles, and networking and making those connections. It's such an important thing. And listening and sharing knowledge and connecting. So in that way, we can be this force for change for generations to come.
Thank you so much, Liz. Ariel, I'm going to give you one more shot to wrap it up with moving forward. How are you paying it forward?
Thank you. I'm just going to say one word, Sankofa. I truly believe in it. You cannot move forward without going back. I'm thankful to be able to reach back and lean on the wonderful sisters and sheroes that I have, but also knowing that the children's children shall be free. So I'm not just focused on my young generation at this point. I'm also focused on the next generation that may not know or haven't had that spark yet to get civically engaged, but to start that spark at very young ages. So Sankofa.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm so glad we could hear from you, Ariel. I'm so
Thank
glad we
you.
could hear from you because your voice matters to us so much. I cannot take a moment. I have to. Thank you. Thank you so much to our President's Leadership Circle and Ruby Campbell Pulliam Award honorees. You all are rock stars, again, for your leadership. And now we're going to take a 5-minute break to transition to hear from our sponsors and the presentation of our Chairman's Circle Awards. So please stay tuned. We've got some more for you. Don't go in.
We started over 3 months ago over there at the United Methodist building, demanding the Congress pass federal voting rights legislation. Since that time, we have worked in coalition to try to connect the dots for the American people, that voting rights equals justice.
This is what democracy looks like. When I say black votes, I understand that the fight never ends, and that the victory doesn't go to the swift
but it goes to the strong and those who will endure. Teach your children and teach them well. If you want victory, if you want freedom in this land, nothing is free, including freedom ain't free.
Well, the last thing I did wrong,
32 million people in this country make less than $15 a living wage. 250,000 people died every year from poverty before COVID. The majority of the people that died in COVID were service workers that they got a name change to essential workers. They were the first to go to work, the first to get infected, the first to get sick, and the first to die, and they were mostly black and brown women.
Every time they push back, we push back harder. Every time they put in a new law, every time they want us to put in a poll tax or want us to count the jelly beans or do whatever, we push back harder and harder and harder.
If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down.
Here we are in 2021, and we're still fighting for basic rights. We're still fighting for the things that should be normal. We're still fighting for the things that should be regular.
Keep your right.
And so we say to you today that we just put some tape back on the package. And we said we are returning it to sender. Because we know that everything is going to be all right because we know who is on our side.
And we gon' rock it everywhere. And we gon' rock it everywhere.
In fact, black folks, brown folks, young people, API folk don't have the right to vote, then it ain't much of a democracy. But you know, those folks who don't want us folk to vote know that if we do, they ain't long for power.
I can't thank the march from the National Council of Negro Women and all that have gathered. They marched in their boots so that we can keep people from dying in their boots.
Tomorrow I will be 83 years old. And I'm out here today because our young people is fighting.
That's right.
And I want to be there with them when they fight. I didn't believe I'd had to go through this again. I said it to my great-granddaughter the other day. We fighting for stuff I thought was universal.
That's right.
And we fighting again for it. But make this the last time.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm sensing today that we're in the closing phase of the time trial because the time is running out for you in Congress.
We had John Lewis. He died in the fight. And I'm still out here. My brothers and sisters are still out here living in the fight. When is it going to end? Pass the John Lewis Act. Just do it.
What are the possibilities that exist when people are actually offered the opportunity to stand in the fullness of their humanity? What does that nation look like? Because that's the nation that I'm fighting for. That's the reason why I'm here. That every single policy that is rooted in for the love of humanity, what would that look like?
We already know who stands to lose the most if Congress fails to act. It's marginalized people. It's black people. It's people of color. It's poor people. It's women, and it's our entire democracy.
If I have paid leave, but the nurse treating me in the hospital does not, that impacts us too. If I have paid leave, but the Amazon driver does not, that impacts us too. If I have paid leave, but my neighbor does not have paid leave, that impacts us too. And we are leaving nobody behind.
Somebody asked her one day, how long do you fight, Harriet? You got your freedom. How long do you fight, Harriet? You're living in Philadelphia. How long do you fight, Harriet? And Harriet said, we fight until we get what God says we can have. And God says we can have our freedom. God says we can have all of our voting rights. God says we can have a living wage. God says fight until you get all that I said you could have. So, Melanie, you sent out the email, but God called this meeting.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we are back. Thank you so much. We want to welcome our final three 45th anniversary partners and 2021 Spirit of Democracy Awards executive title sponsors. First, we'll hear from the Coca-Cola Company, followed by Comcast, NBC, and Universal, Verizon, and the National Association to bring remarks. First, we'll bring to the virtual stage our executive producer level sponsor, the Coca-Cola Company. We will now show a video from our next executive producer level sponsor, Comcast, NBC, Universal.
Having the internet has allowed me to explore my passions and create new ones. Over the last few months, I've been working on a children's book. It's all about a kid with big dreams who wants to succeed at all kinds of things. Sometimes he doubts himself. He wonders if he should be more realistic. But he works hard, he keeps dreaming big, and he goes on to achieve amazing things. It's meant to be a lesson for kids, but it's also a reminder for me to show the world what I can do.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're going to take a moment. We're going to have our president and CEO, Melanie Campbell, come back with us for a minute for a special award. Melanie?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you to our executive producer level sponsors. We will hear from two more of them right after this, but it is my pleasure. And when you're working in this virtual space, you have to adjust, and we are adjusting just a bit with our honorees. And it is so exciting for me to serve in the capacity as my chairman is maneuvering his way to present this chairman's Leadership Award to my brother, Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP. I've known Derek for such a long time. We were toddlers together. But Derek, I know you're moving and maneuvering, and there's so much going on this week. I'm so glad you were able to join us tonight to virtually receive this Spirit of Democracy Award for civil rights and social justice. We salute you for your visionary leadership, my brother, in this modern day civil rights and social justice movement of our lifetime. I want to thank you on behalf of Thomas W. George Jr., who was maneuvering through traffic trying to get to his the system, to just thank you for investing also in the next generation to live out their best lives, live out their best lives through NAACP's AXO Achievement Program, and so much more. And thank you for being my brother on the battlefield, not just in the streets, not just in the suites, but also the halls of Congress. I thank you. And you just wanted to while we out here fighting and tussling, just wanted to just pause, because the NAACP, actually, the National Coalition was the brainchild of the NAACP. And so for our 45th, we wanted to make sure that we took some time to thank you, thank the NAACP for all that you do, for your 10, big number, right? Years, 100, right? Years of being a leader of leaders. And so you will get this award, the Spirit of Democracy Award, in the mail. But yes, Derek, it was the NAACP, AFL-CIO, and the Joint Center. And so it's always a blessing to be one of the children of the NAACP in helping to start this organization. So thank you, my brother. I know you're on the run. And any remarks you'd like to bring at this time, we appreciate you. Love you, my brother.
Well, Melody, thank you. I want to thank all of the members, to Chairman Tommy George, my frat, for all the work that you have done, holding up democracy, standing where others should be standing. I see you have your A squad, Helen Butler, and all the other ones on the line. Continue the work. I will always support you. I support Black women. I stand with you as we fight for democracy. So I appreciate this acknowledgement, but there's more work to get done. So in the morning, let's get back to work.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
Love you. Okay. Thank you. And we turn it back over to my sister, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely, Melanie. And again, congratulations, President of NAACP, Brother Derek Johnson. We honor you and we honor the legacy, the great legacy of the NAACP. We'd like to go ahead and continue to welcome to the stage our executive producer level sponsor, Verizon. We'll now hear from Michael Colbert, Director of External Affairs.
Michelle.
I'm sorry. So we'll bring from Verizon. You're muted. We can't hear you, sis. And I apologize. Let's see if we hear you now. So in this world of technical space, guys, this happens from CNN to Fox. It happens in every space, and this is what happens. So we are patient. We're waiting to hear from you. We are so grateful for your sponsorship. So please, we'd love to hear from you. Let's see if it's working now. We're still not able to hear you. I'm not sure why either, sis. Okay, we're gonna have you come back, Michelle. Okay, we're gonna have you come back. We're gonna work on your sound. We're gonna have you come back because we definitely want to hear from you. We'd like to also welcome to the virtual space our executive producer level sponsor, the National Education Association. We'll now hear from the president. We'll now hear from Princess Moss, vice president and of the National Education Association, to bring remarks. Princess Moss.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. So I'm going to say it again. We are hearing from the vice president, the vice president of the National Education Association. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. Please let us hear from Sister Princess Moss. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. It is indeed my honor this evening to bring greetings from the 3 million members of the National Education Association, the nation's largest union of public school educators. You know, at the NEA, we share one core belief, and it is that every public school student, Black, brown, white, and indigenous, LGBTQ+, and differently abled, every student should receive the preparation they need to succeed in a diverse and interdependent world. Thank you to our National Coalition on Black Civic Participation President and CEO, Melanie Campbell, for including the NEA in this very important celebration, and for your expert, dedicated leadership. Melanie, I also thank you for having the vision to convene a community of Black women, including my really good friend and colleague, NEA President Becky Pringle, who's to serve on the Black Women's Roundtable. The vibrant circle of vision and commitment helps to ensure that more Black women and girls have access to the resources and opportunities that this nation so often places out of reach to far too many. When COVID closed our schools last year, the entire world saw the Black, brown, and indigenous students and the students from severely and historically under-resourced communities who face the greatest challenges when it comes to grasping opportunity. It is no secret to any of us who are gathered here tonight that these challenges have been sustained by systemic racism, classism, and inadequate funding of our public schools. We know these national racial divisions are not an accident. They exist by design. I thank tonight's honorees for working every day to dismantle and remake that framework. In particular, I must shout out NEA's longstanding friend, Derek Johnson, who has just received the award. He makes sure that whenever the NEA calls, the NAACP answers. And also AFL-CIO President Liz Shuler, our sister in the House of Labor. Together, you will help to create a system that works for everyone. Together, all of you will help to make the promise of our nation the practice of our nation. You represent power, possibility, and endless opportunities to discuss, examine, and partner on behalf of our students, our families, our communities, and our nation. On behalf of the members of the National Education Association, I congratulate you all for preserving the spirit of democracy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Princess, for those amazing remarks. And thank you for your sponsorship. We could not do this without the NEA. So thank you so much. We're going to go back and we're going to make sure that we recognize, appreciate, and thank our executive producer, title sponsor, Verizon. So we welcome to the stage Ms. Michelle Kober, Director of External Affairs from Verizon, to bring us remarks. Michelle, we believe you've got this. We believe you are a communications company. You got this, Michelle.
I think you can hear me now, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? That's Verizon. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Well, I think the issue was with Safari and not Verizon. So we'll just move on from there. Thank you so much, Melanie, Michelle, National Coalition on Civic Participation, for having me. As Michelle mentioned, I am Michelle Kober, Director of External Affairs, and we are so proud at Verizon to be a sponsor for tonight's Spirit of Democracy Awards. Congratulations to all of tonight's honorees. On behalf of Verizon, thank you so much for being our valued, long-standing partners. Thank you for your tireless work to make change in the community and for being a driving force in the fight for equality and justice. We salute the National Coalition and Black Women's Roundtable and all of the leaders who work so hard for all that you do. Even through incredible challenges this past year, we remain hopeful when we look at the work of leaders like Melanie and those being honored tonight. You all remind us that we have a responsibility to create positive change in our communities. The word responsibility carries a lot of weight with Verizon. We understand that as a corporation, we have a responsibility to be a positive force in the communities that we serve. Our company purpose is to create the networks that move the world forward, and that world includes everyone. That is why we are dedicated to economic, environmental, and social advancement, helping Black businesses, closing the digital divide, providing digital skills training for our communities, uplifting the next generation of Black leaders from HBCUs, and so much more. And we will continue the work along with our partners like the National Coalition to ensure that we move forward together. Congratulations again to tonight's honorees, including Verizon's very own Senior Vice President of Public Policy and Strategic Alliances, Donna Epps. I am so pleased to be here, and I look forward to continuing the celebration this evening.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much. And
Thank
we are
you.
so grateful for Verizon. We are so grateful. You know, we're excited because we're moving to our last 3 honorees, and we're excited because these are the chairman's honorees. We're going to bring up our president, Melanie Campbell. Melanie, can you come back and be with us for the chairman's honorees?
Thank you, Michelle. What I'm going to do is take a part of what the chairman is going to do, and he'll come and make the presentation for our remaining honorees. But we had a special tribute that we wanted to do tonight. She's a mentor of mine and many others who has served the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and many other organizations, both public sector and private sector. And that's Dr. Yvonne Scruggs Leftwich. We want to thank and acknowledge Dr. Scruggs Leftwich for your long, she's watching and tuning in. So Yvonne, we wanted to take a moment to acknowledge you as one of our long-serving board members. You have served as our nominations committee chair for the past 15 years. You mentored me when I first came to Washington, D.C., and I'll never forget it, and I thank you for that. I know you and your family are watching tonight, so we want to make a special board tribute to you virtually. We thank you for your lifetime of service, fighting for civil rights, women's rights, economic and social justice, and opportunity for Black Americans and all Americans. We know you have recently republished your grandfather's book, Women of Distinction, that was initially published in 1983, containing biographies of 91 women of African descent whose work resulted in significant contributions to the nation. We know you are enjoying your retirement and spending much more time with your children, grandchildren, family, and friends. And we want to thank your family for loaning us to you for so many decades. And not just for the coalition, but you led and were the founding executive director for Black Leadership Forum. I know that you served in Philadelphia in the public sector and worked with a lot of companies like Verizon and others to really advise. I know the work that you did around helping to fight for affirmative action so that these generations that are here right now still have an opportunity for equal opportunity in our higher education system, and so much more. So we want to thank you again, and we want you to enjoy tonight. And we'll see you very soon. We love you, Yvonne. On behalf of the board of directors and all of us at the National Coalition, we love you, we thank you, and we salute you. Thank you so very much, Michelle. And I think we have time for one more video, and then once we have that video, we'll come back to present our final 3 honorees.
Certainly. So we're excited.
Why are we here? Because our voting rights are under attack, and our democracy is under threat from within.
Because you take my right to vote. You have taken my citizenship and my humanity. We who believe in freedom will not rest until it comes.
Does it make any sense that voting should be restricted to as short a time period as possible and that citizens must stand in line for hours at a time? It makes no sense, and it cannot be justified. The right to vote is an American issue and sacred for every citizen. Together, we must move forward, not backward.
As an ally, we have seen the pain that our communities have suffered and the sacrifices that Black women have made across the country for generations.
You can tell when you're winning in Alabama. They don't have the hose pipes no more. They don't have the dogs no more. The police can't beat us down no more. So the first thing they're going to work on is our voting rights. But I can tell you now, we got to stand, and we got to stand home, and we got to stand hard, and we cannot go back.
Young people, pay attention. just know what's happening. It's not just happening in states like Georgia and Alabama. It's happening all across this country. And you also need to be on the right side of history. If we do not have the right to vote, we won't have a closing of economic disparity. We won't have fair and equitable growth. It matters who is in Congress.
All standing for justice and righteousness. That is the God of our weary years and silence here today. We are believing you right now. If we come together with our white allies, we will win in the end.
Fighting to ensure that those who cannot speak for themselves, those incarcerated, those of different religious backgrounds, those afraid to walk up to the polling place even with a legitimate voting registration card, fearful of what may happen to them, fearful of this debate, fearful that they'll be targeted. I walk in their name, and I walk in the names of those who never got an opportunity for 246 years to raise their head and their face to the sun and to be able to stand with us. I walk in the name of H.R. 40, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals. I walk for the silent. I walk for those who will be silent. I walk to give them light and to give them strength. Carry on.
We insist on helping to move the axis of history toward justice.
How did we get here? We got here when the Senate decided that they didn't have time to come and allow for a discussion, let alone a vote on protecting our voting rights. And so sisters got together and said, we got to do something.
So critically important that we use that vote in every single election. We have to vote in our local elections for our city folks, for our school board folks, because they are the ones that impact our everyday lives.
If you got Black women on your side, you got a mighty army.
We're asking for something that belongs to us. If you can imagine how frustrating it is and how angry you feel when something that has already been purchased. We're talking about freedoms that have already been earned.
I'm not here asking anymore. I'm not here asking. We're too hard. We work too hard for this. We are here to take what is ours.
We will not settle for lip service. We will not settle for hollow words. And we will not settle for inaction when it comes to the protection of the right to vote. It's a moment to fight. When we stood in line a year and a week ago, some people for 7 hours, to ensure our democracy will be saved, That was a fight, and we won. And as we stand here today, I can assure you, when we fight, we will win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win.
If we don't keep knocking on doors, if we don't keep calling people out who talk the talk but don't walk the walk, then it's on our shoulders that the responsibility will have fallen apart.
Okay, we got local elections coming up. Those 2 counties over here who weren't bold enough and brave enough to do the right thing, you on the ballot. So now we coming for your seat.
Our voice is our liberation. Our power is our freedom. And our vote is our right.
We must pass voting rights legislation now.
And we will not stop until the right of every American to pursue their sacred obligation to vote is secured, and until Build Back Better is passed, ensuring women, children, and families in this country can not just exist but thrive.
So my question to the Senate is, how much longer do we need to wait for justice?
And I'm here today to ask Congress to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, the Freedom to Vote Act, DC Statehood, and the Build Back Better Act now.
There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people across the country who cannot be here today, but who are standing up in their homes, at their jobs, out on the road, making changes across the country.
As youth and seasoned leaders, we don't waste time. We understand the assignment for what it takes for change. We are going to continue to use our voices and actions to receive justice. All right. This is my home, and it is my right to speak on what should be happening in my home. My vote matters, and so does everyone else in this room.
The work is not done as long as there are mile-long lines to just access the ballot. The work is not done as long as our care economy plan is paid for by the underpaid labor of Black and brown women in this country. And the work is not done as long as we do not have access to paid leave.
When Build Back Better passes, we will win the biggest direct investment in good jobs for women of color in the history of the United States. That is what is in Build Back Better. It is economic justice.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It is now my pleasure to welcome Thomas W. Dortch Jr., Chairman of the Board for the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, to the virtual stage. Tommy will bring remarks and present the Chairman's Leadership Circle Spirit of Democracy Awards. Tommy, we can't wait to hear from you.
Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for the National Coalition's 45th anniversary 2021 Spirit of Democracy Awards, virtual celebration. I know we all wish we could be right back in the same room together, but until we get through this pandemic, this is what we have to do. And so I want to thank you for investing in the work of the National Coalition. And we, of course, as we embark on one of the most important midterm election cycles of our lifetime in 2022, we often hear people say it's the most important, but this one is serious. We salute tonight's honorees for all of the great work and who exemplify our 45th anniversary Spirit of Democracy Award. The theme, celebrating the diversity of our democracy. And you know, our democracy has been under attack. Tonight's honorees are some of our nation's most extraordinary and transformational leaders who are meeting the challenges of our times with an unwavering commitment to ensure all Americans, and I say all Americans, are able to participate fully in all aspects of civil society, pursue and achieve their dreams and aspirations now and into the future. Further, it's important that we reflect And I say we reflect on the fact that our nation is at a crossroad. When voting rights and our democracy are under unprecedented attacks, racism, hate crimes, white supremacy is just again on the rise. And of course, income inequality and lack of wealth challenges our communities again, and justice hangs in the balance. We can make a difference though. We've been here before. To address these issues, I challenge us to come together across race, class, gender, and of course, age to unify our nation in order for our children to inherit a world better than is inclusive, fair, and just for all people. Again, I remind us we've been here before. We've had these challenges, we've met them, and we must be even more committed today to meet these challenges. We're grateful to all of our sponsors and appreciate you for our long-standing partnerships. Further, tonight we are delighted to pay tribute to our 2021 Chairman's Leadership Circle Spirit of Democracy Award honorees for their exceptional leadership in public service, civil rights, labor, and in the entertainment industry. Your voices play a critical role in strengthening our democracy and, of course, our nation. I would like to pause to send a special thanks to, thanks to you for our founders, the National Coalition of Black Civic Participation. You again have led the way. You are the pathway to where we are today. Your participation has made it possible for us to do the things that we do today. Participants, again, your vision to sound leadership found this organization. You led us to where we are today. And of course, you've given us the battlefield that allows us, the people, great leaders like Bill Lucy, Norman Hill, Richard Womack Sr., and all who are founding and past board members who have joined, again, the ancestors of this great organization. You know, you've heard a little bit earlier, but in closing, I want to thank the National Coalition's Board of Directors. You are phenomenal. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity just to stand before and follow through on your decisions, not mine, your decisions. And of course, our phenomenal CEO and president, Melanie Campbell. Again, you make a difference. All of our affiliates, Black Women's Roundtable and Black Youth Vote Network, members, for your service, and thank you. Thank you for what you continue to do. To our president and CEO, again, I can't say enough, Melanie, you have sacrificed and committed yourself to leading us to higher heights. We appreciate your presence, and on behalf of the National Coalition's Board of Directors, our state-based affiliates and partners, over 80 plus member organizations and staff, we thank you for all that you do to ensure our democracy represents all of the people now and for the future generations to follow. And now it's my pleasure to present the Chairman's Leadership Circle 2021 Spirit of Democracy Award to Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP. I had the great pleasure of serving 18 years on the Special Contribution Fund Board. I'm a life member. All of my children are life members. But if it were not for you and the other great organizations, we would not be where we are today. Derek, I am delighted to present to you the 2021 Chairman's Leadership Award for Civil Rights and Social Justice. We salute you for your visionary leadership in the modern day civil rights and social justice movement of our times. We also want to thank you through this honor for investing in the next generation to live out their dreams through the NAACP AXO Achievement Program. Again, Derek, thank you so much.
Hi, Tommy. because I know you were tied up with the traffic. We went ahead. Derek came on just a little earlier, so we went ahead and I bootlegged your role for a few minutes and presented him the award. He apologizes. He only could be on for a few minutes, but we can go straight to Alba with Coca-Cola.
And so you ready for me? And now, let me just say again, it's great to have the leaders and have partners and friends like Derek and like the NAACP and so many great organizations. At this point, let me just turn back over to our Michelle for her leadership. Michelle, you have been a great part of this family. And I want to turn the program back over to you for the panel discussion. This has been I think for us, the panel discussions are a phenomenal part of our annual awards ceremony and the things that we're able to do. And I turn this over to you as moderator. And again, you again are now in charge, as you know how to be in charge and make things happen. Michelle, you have the floor.
Okay.
But I don't have the floor.
Yep. Hi, Tommy.
I would love to have
Tommy. Want you to go back to flip back a couple pages. I can't hear you that well. Can you hear me?
Slightly, but go ahead.
Okay, we're having some little bit of technical difficulties, but that's okay. That's it is what it is with technology. But we want you to come back to Alba.
To Alba?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my good friend.
Bailey. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so just introduce Alba.
3 more presentations, yes.
All right. Count me down. You ready?
Yes. You want me to go? You want to go? So okay. The next award is for Miss Alba Balin, Vice President, Stakeholder, and Community Management, the Coca-Cola Company. So Tommy, I turn it over to you to present this award to, and I'm holding it for you, to Miss Alba Balin with the Coca-Cola Company.
And Alba, you're one of my favorite. Thank you for all that you do. Alba, you are just phenomenal. We thank you for the partnership with the coalition. We thank you for all you do every day. You get up to make a difference in the lives of so many people. And I am just so proud to call you a friend. But more importantly, you make us all proud. So let me just get out of the way of my friend Alba. Thank you for all that you do.
Thanks to you, Tommy. Thanks, Melanie, and good evening to all. I have to tell you that to be recognized by the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation as an advocate for democracy is such a tremendous honor, and I am deeply grateful. I mean, I have to share a personal story because for me, it was the spirit of democracy and opportunity that brought me to this country 30 years ago from Colombia. And I am thankful every single day for the doors that have opened for me and my family in America. And this award reflects a commitment and an effort far bigger than one person. So my entire Coca-Cola family deserves the recognition because of the purpose that all of us strive to represent each day in the marketplace and in the community, which is to refresh the world and, Tommy, as you say, make a difference. So in accepting this award, I just want to say that I'm only one voice saying we thank you on behalf of my entire Coca-Cola family.
Thank you, Alba. And Tommy, next you have Donna Epps, Senior Vice President for Public Policy and Strategic Alliances with Verizon.
To the next one. Let me just say, I've got, is this my good friend I get to call on now, Donna?
Yes, it is. Hi
Look,
there,
Donna,
Tommy.
it's my pleasure to present the Chairman's Leadership Circle 2021 Spirit of Democracy Award, our virtual awards to the one and only Miss Donna Epps. Let me tell you, Donna, you have been, again, a great partner, your investment, but more importantly, what you do for us throughout this country. So you're the Senior VP for Public Policy and Strategic Alliance for Verizon. And Donna, I am delighted to present to you this 2021 Chairman's Leadership Circle Spirit of Democracy Award for corporate leadership, social responsibility, and innovation. Further, we salute you for your dedicated service and leadership in building strategic alliances, and I mean very strategic alliances with diverse communities to have access to affordable, high quality broadband. And this is critical. You know, as we talk about this whole access to broadband, you have been there, and this whole technology piece, as we've had to pivot from this COVID pandemic, what you do is so critical now more than ever before. So the tools that you help to make available and economically, educationally, and socially, you are the bomb, as they say with my young folks. So with that, again, Donna, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you so much, Tommy and Melanie. I'm just honored for this award. You all are fantastic partners. All that you do is so impactful in our communities. I just want to say I really appreciate you acknowledging with this award, not only public sector leaders, but private sector leaders, because I think it's important to recognize that we really all do have a role to play in improving our communities and enhancing civic participation. And it's imperative that we all work within our sphere of influence. And so as my fellow honoree Alba mentioned, this is a true honor for the entire Verizon family. Our partnership with you is invaluable. We know that to move the country forward, we all have to work together to collaborate. And I just appreciate you so much, Melanie and Tommy, for being a tremendous source of wisdom and insight as we have tried to identify and understand more about where the need is and how we should show up and how we can use our resources to make positive change. And so thank you so very much for this honor. Thank you for your leadership. And as co-honoree Derek Johnson said, we know there's so much work that needs to be done. And so we have miles to go before we sleep, but I appreciate us having this opportunity and space to just pause and celebrate the work and the leaders who, like you, frankly, as well as the fellow honorees that are really tip of the spear as we move forward. So thank you so much.
Again, Donna, thank you. And I must make a footnote here. You were doing all of this long before COVID. This is not something that happened because of COVID. You've been there making a difference all of these years. And I can't say enough, not just for what you do for the coalition, but what you've done for communities across this nation. And so thank you. And it is really our privilege and honor to be able to just simply say to you, thank you. Thank you so much. Next, it's my pleasure to present the Chairman's Leadership Circle 2021 Spirit of Democracy Award to April Ryan, our White House correspondent and DC bureau chief. Again, she is the Griot author and CNN political analyst. April, I am delighted to present to you the 2021 Chairman's Leadership Circle Award for Journalism, Culture, and Social Change. We salute you for your visionary leadership in journalism and exceptional storytelling of our modern day civil rights and social justice movement, race relations, political leaders, again, including President of the United States. Further, we thank you through the honor for investing in the mentoring of the next generation of journalists and broadcasters, especially at historically Black colleges and universities. as we say, you tell the truth, and of course, know ye the truth, and the truth will set you free. And so we want to thank you. And again, thank you for your leadership. Again, April Ryan. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I think. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think that we're having some technical difficulties, Tommy. So we may have to repeat that in a minute. So what we'll do is we will move to
Speak a little louder because I can barely
okay,
hear.
I know you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so we're going to come back to April. We had some technical difficulties, so we'll come back with her, and so you can you're going to have to repeat when she comes back. In the meantime, we can go to our panel with Michelle, and then once April comes on and we get her into the queue, we'll come back to present her properly the award again.
Absolutely. And Melanie, from my understanding, she's trying to connect. So what we're going to do is go ahead and move on with the panel. We certainly want to honor the amazing journalist that shows up in the form of April Ryan. This is the opportunity now to hear from our Chairman's Leadership Circle. We want to hear from you. We have our roundtable discussion, and we want to bring you all back to the camera so we can just have a quick discussion, and then we're going to bring April on in a few moments. So if I could just have Miss Donna Epps, hello, and I could have Miss Alabama on. There is April. So let's do this. Let's do this, April. This is what we're going to do. We're going to have Tommy give you your award right now. We're going to bring you in because you know what, April, we love you and we are so proud of you. And we are so honored that we're honoring you. And so I'm going to have the panelists just step off for 1 second. Tommy, let us go ahead and give April her just due. We're going to go ahead and give April her just due. So, Tommy, if you could just come back up and just introduce the award for our amazing April Ryan. We will then move to our panel after April has received her just due. And you're muted, Tommy, so if you can just unmute. He's still muted. April, we're so happy to have you. We're going to work this out.
I'm so happy to be here. Can you
We're
hear
glad
me?
to have you. There's our president, Melanie.
Yes.
That is gorgeous.
And so, April, we will be giving this to you. This will come to you. This is our Spirit of Democracy Award, and each one of them is a piece of art. And it will, so you look to receive that. And so we have been having some real technical challenges tonight, but we're getting through it anyhow. God
you
is
look
good.
You look
Yes.
good in the midst.
And so
All that.
April and Tommy will come back in a minute, but I will go ahead. He said it, but I'll say it again. And we're going to do it twice. That's how much we love you. We're going to say it twice. And so, April, this is our and we know that you serve as White House correspondent in such a, and I've been able to call you my sister, my friend, my colleague, my soror, more recently. But I have always appreciated the exceptional journalism that you bring, and that you're able to do it in such a way to tell the stories in a way that is powerful. You're not afraid to be when you're in the room to do your job as a White House correspondent, and also ask the questions that need to be asked and would not, in my opinion, be asked if you were not in the room. You know what God's assignment work is for you, and you do it with such grace, and you can smile, but you can cut somebody too if they don't do it. If they're not right. You don't mind coming back with the question and asking the hard questions, because at the end of the day, being in that space, it helps our community. It helps this nation. Appreciate the amount of books that you've written. You include me in one of them, and I appreciate that too. And being able to share those stories, to mentor so many young people I know your HBCU grad over there at Morgan State, and the things that you do to make sure that you don't close the door, you opening the door, and you're and grooming the next generation of journalists every day. You know, you're an awesome mom. You do so many other things. I know you're with the Griot now as the bureau chief as well. And we just wanted to just pause a minute to just say thank you. Our theme is celebrating the diversity of our democracy. And without the press, without freedom of the press, what would this democracy be? And we know we're at this precipice of whether we'll have a democracy or not. And so I think God brought you to this time for such a time as this to be the woman that you are, the phenomenal woman that you are. We love you, we appreciate you, and we will virtually present you this Chairman's Leadership Award for our Journalist of the Year. We love you, appreciate you, my sister. If you want to bring a couple words, and if you have time, we have Alba with Coca-Cola and Donna with Verizon. We were going to have a short conversation with our Chairman's Leadership Award for the night. If you have time, I know you're out and it might not be possible.
I have time.
Okay, thank you. And so if you want to bring, and then we'll bring Michelle and our other two. Derek was on Johnson, and he was not where he could do it, but we appreciate you being able to sit here with the other two phenomenal sisters to be able to hear some of your insight with our sister Michelle, the Indie Mama Comedy, who will MC the conversation.
I'm honored, Melanie. I'm honored. This award means so much. Thank you so much. First, thank you for giving me something to cover. Thank you for being the woman who leads women to freedom. And thank you for just understanding what it takes to do what we do, freedom of the press, and the responsibility of the press that we have to inform our nation, and particularly those who are underserved. And this is not about me. It's about the greater good. It's about all of us. The founding fathers, I can tell you, never imagined April Ryan would be in that White House. But I stand on what they built into the pillars of this nation, the First Amendment, freedom of the press. I also stand on a report that was commissioned over 50 years ago, the Kerner Commission report. It was commissioned by Lyndon Baines Johnson, and it was about trying to fix the community's ills when there was friction between the police and the community, and the uprisings in these communities over these tensions. And towards the back of the report, it talks about the press and how the press, people who look like me from the community, should be in these spaces and places to ask the questions about the community to lessen the tension. And we forget about those things. So at this moment in time, I think it is paramount that an April Ryan, a Yamisha Sindor, Kristen Welker, so many of us are there to ask questions, and particularly for a community that's underserved. And I'm not going to continue to talk, but I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you more than you know, because sometimes when you go through the fire and you think you're alone, you're not. And this award just shows the importance of asking questions that bring forth answers that could ultimately be solutions. Melanie, from my heart and from my children and from the Griot, we thank you so much for this honor and recognition. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, April. Donna, April, Alba, and in absentia, although he was with us earlier, Derek Johnson, congratulations on receiving the Chairman's Leadership Circle Award. You guys are so deserving. We're going to ask you one poignant question, just one question, and we know that you have the answer for us tonight. And that question is, with all that has happened in this unprecedented time in your particular role, what are you ladies doing to pay it forward? What are you doing to pay it forward as our Chairman Circle Leadership Awardees? And we're going to start with you, Donna. What are you doing to pay it forward?
Thank you so much, Michelle. You know, What I am doing to pay it forward is really being strategic and intentional about what is it within my sphere of influence can I be doing at this moment to move forward the mission, the cause for democracy, social justice, et cetera. And I think it's fair to say that we are in a moment in time that corporate America has really never been in before. As you know, traditionally, corporate America was focused on policy issues that affect the bottom line or that are in the core focus of the business. But we're in a moment in time where everyone has to be counted. And I think it is critical for corporations to understand, sort of bring the outside in. And I think that that is part of my role and folks who are in positions like mine to provide good counsel, to be very strategic about where we show up and when we show up and what can we do. Sometimes that is making a public statement. Sometimes that's working behind the scenes, but it always means collaborating, coordinating, and creating solutions and using our resources, whether that's influence or in-kind monetary resources, whatever that may be, to be a part of the solution. We will not be on the front lines leading, but we will be listening to those leaders who are on the front lines. And I think from my perspective, it is imperative for me to, not forget where I came from. I am the daughter of a Southern Methodist minister who was very active in the civil rights movement in North Carolina and Atlanta. And one of the things he taught me was wherever you go, no matter how important the folks in the room are, make sure that you don't leave behind yourself. Bring yourself into that room. And what does that mean? It means bring your experience, contextualize your experience, and bring the value of that experience to any organization that you're a part of. And in this moment in time, where public sector leaders, private sector leaders, all of us have to use our resources and our collective voice to stand for what's right, to make sure there's justice and equality for all, it is critical that we use that influence in a way that's going to advance the greater good. So that's what I'm doing.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Alba, what are you doing to pay it forward over there at Coca-Cola?
Well, first of all, I want to say, Donna, I am so inspired by your words, and it is so true. For me personally, it is a lot about listening and make sure that representing the Coca-Cola family, we can use our resources, we can use our voice as a megaphone to ensure that we are bringing to the table the needs in our communities. I think what we saw during the pandemic is that we always knew in this country, and being from a developing country, that there was a lot of need. But with the pandemic, it was like the curtain was lifted and the needs were far beyond, you know, especially for communities of colors, the gap, the equity gap, the food insecurity, everything that was happening, it tripled. So what we're doing is making sure that we are listening, using our resources, leveraging the resources, and bringing coalitions, making sure that we are bringing different nonprofits together to create that collaboration, making sure that we can use our influence to ensure that others realize the need and they can join forces. And I also believe that how we help is also part of our personal story. For me, a key priority is education. That's my experience. And I firmly believe that what I need to do beyond all the support with our communities is providing access to education. Because if we provide access to education, we're going to ensure that our communities are prepared, that they can learn, that they can get the resources so that they can advance and ensure that when situations like that are faced, hopefully they have more resources, they have the knowledge, and they have access to opportunities. So that's from my end. Thank you.
Outstanding. April, can you just bring it home for us, or can you bring it home? April, are you still with us? I'm not sure that she's still with us. But if you're not, April, we understand. First, the last things, I just want to thank you all so much for your words, for your wisdom, for your partnership, for your leadership. On behalf of the 45th anniversary of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, we want to thank you for being a part of this panel and sharing your wisdom. Thank you so, so much. And take real good care. We are looking forward to more work together as we continue this endeavor. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much, Alba. And thank you, April. And thank you, Derek, for being our Chairman Leadership awardees. Thank you so, so much. You know, we can't do this without having a little bit of celebration via music. We can't. This is who we are. This is what we do. We cannot do this without celebrating. So without further ado, we're going to bring up a Grammy Award nominee, singer, songwriter, producer, and a Howard University alum, Brother Eric Roberson. Eric continues to break boundaries as an independent artist in an industry dominated by major labels, manufactured sounds, and mainstream radio. Described as the original pioneer of the independent movement in R&B soul music, Eric has achieved major milestones in his career, from being a successful songwriter and producer for notable artists such as Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, Dwele, Vivian Green, and countless others, to headlining sold-out tours across the country. I am so excited to celebrate this 45th anniversary with this amazing Grammy nominee, Mr. Eric Roberson. Please do not move. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be worth the wait. So, without further ado, let's hear from our good brother, Grammy nominee, Eric Roberson.
Spirit of Democracy Awards. Let's go. And the 45th anniversary of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. I'm your boy, Eric Roberson. Cheers. The band and I are ready to have a good time with you. So sit back, relax, dance, sing, whatever you like. But let's have fun. Celebrate you. Band, you ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Sing along if you know. Well, I guess I'm just caught up in the newness. But truth be told, I think she is the one. Yeah, yeah. Even though I know it's just the newness. It's just the newness. Don't know what tomorrow holds, but I hope she's holding on from this point on. Yeah, ever since she signed on board, we've been going hard, so hard. Till like 8:45. Now I'm at my 9 to 5, but never feeling so alive. Yeah, I guess you blame my brand new friend. Since she entered in, I've been holding her more than my pen. And you know that's a lie. First time I ever got writer's block. Okay, maybe not. 'Cause when we part, the pen just won't stop. Sing along. Caught up in that newness again. Hey. No. I know we act like we're still 19, and every time we kiss, it's like a movie scene, yeah. Oh, from that Love Jones flick, you played me along, I played Lorenz Day. You come downstairs with them legs, I'm making cheese omelets, girl. Okay, I digress, I'm just having fun. Serious love is so overdone, yeah. Fresh like the the lotion that she just rubbed on. I can smell it on my pillow when she's gone. Be laying there like, man, come on. When you're coming back, girl. Caught up in the newness, yeah. Whoa. One more time, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess I'm just caught up in the newness. Hey, but truth be told, I think she is the one. Hey, hey, hey. Even though I know it's just the newness, it's just newness. Thank you, President Melanie Campbell and the board chairman, Thomas W. Deutsch, for inviting me to be a part of the Spirit of Democracy Awards and the 45th anniversary of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. It is an honor to celebrate the diversity of our democracy and tonight's esteemed awardees. So my name is Eric Roberson. The band and I put together a special set for you tonight, and hopefully you enjoy. The next song we're about to do for you is called Superman. It's a song that I wrote for my kids to uplift them. It will be featuring an amazing trumpet player that's a part of my band named Chris Stevens, okay? Let's do it. Don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the wind. They want you to be Clark Kent, your brother, but you're more like Superman. First of all, don't apologize for the skin you're in. It shows just how deep we are, reminds us where we've been. Sure, we had some tough times, sure there's more to come, but anything is possible with Black, gifted, and young. Spread your wings, little lady, show how fly you are. Spread your wings, little lady. Reach and touch the stars. Spread your wings, little lady, show how fly you are. A queen of possibilities, the best of me by far. Don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the wind. They want you to be Clark Kent, your brother, but you're more like Superman. Physically, yeah, it is known when it comes to that we're best. But understand that your mind will be the strongest yet. Sure, we invented many things. What would this world be without inventions that were made by people like you and me? Spread your wings, little man, show how fly you are. Spread your wings, little man. Reach and touch the stars. Spread your wings, little man, show how fly you are. A king of possibilities, best of me by far. Don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the wind. They want you to be Clark Kent, your brother, hey, but you're more like Superman. Wherever you are, follow me. Nah, nah, nah. Can you sing that? Hey. Nah, nah, nah. I love that. Nah, 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 I can feel it. Nah, 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 oh no, come on. Nah, 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 yeah. Nah, 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 one more time. Nah, 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 yeah. Nah, 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 oh come on, one more time. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, nah, nah. Don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the wind. They want you to be clocking, brother. Hey, but you're more like Superman. Hey, don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the wind. Ha. They want you to be Clark Kent, young brother, but you're more like Superman. Don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the, let it blow right in the, let it blow right in the wind. Don't apologize for how smart you are, how strong you are, how beautiful you are. Don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the wind. They want you to be rocking, young brother, but you're more like Superman. Oh, don't tuck your cape in, young sister. Let it blow right in the wind. They want you to be rocking, your brother, but you're more like Super. But you're more like Super. But you're more like Superman. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, nah, nah. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no. Nah, nah. Da, 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 da. Never apologize for how strong you are, how tall you are, how proud you are, how black you are, how beautiful you are, how smart you are, how courage, how strong, how courageous, how thoughtful you are. Let it blow right in the wind. Let it blow right in the wind. 'Cause you're more like Superman. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't tuck your cape in, your sister. Let it blow right in the wind. They want you to be rocking, young brother, but you're more like Superman. That's my three boys right there. That's Rock. That's Ryder. This little guy right here, that's Max. And I told them, don't ever tuck your cape in. Flow and be like Superman. Hey. That's right, I inserted my own clap. That's what you do when you're standing by yourself in middle of a screen. But it's an honor and a pleasure to rock with you. We have a couple more songs to do, but I want you to do one thing. I want you to take a camera out or your phone out or whatever you have that can capture a picture, because we're going to do a photo shoot now to document how special this moment is. And also because, well, because you look picture perfect this evening, okay? Feel free to show the person next to you who doesn't know how to use their phone where the camera part is. Here we go. Let's go. You ready? Let's go. Photo shoot time. 1, 2, 3. Button up. Let's get busy. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Can we do one more? 1, 2, 3. Now, band, come on in. Feel free to party with us. Here we go. 1, 2. Bum, 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 bum. came up with your design. I couldn't draw you better, baby. Words cannot describe how you look under these stars tonight. Glass into my eyes, girl, you are picture perfect, perfect picture in my eyes. Girl, you are picture perfect, perfect picture. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I couldn't draw you better, baby. Just holding your hands gives me satisfaction similar to when two lovers dance. I couldn't draw you better, baby. This neck was made for me to kiss on. All my songs seem to run on if I write about you. Oh, it's your perfect girl, yeah. In my eyes. We still got time to do another picture. Feel free to get your cameras out again if you are late. Get it ready. One, let's ready. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
See you with it. Snap it one time, girl. You know you picture perfect. Yeah. Shake a pose. Let me see you with it. Snap it one time, girl. You know you picture perfect. Snap. Shake a pose. Let me see you with it. Snap it one time, girl. You know you picture perfect. Let's go. Shake a pose. Let me see you with it. Snap it one time, girl. You know you picture perfect.
Couldn't draw you better, baby. Look into your eyes, I see beauty is not only skin deep. In love with your mind, I could not draw you better, baby. Only dreams can duplicate you. I thank God that He made you, and that you chose me. Yeah. Oh no 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 no, no no no. Jealous of the things that I'm not usually jealous of. Jealous of your jeans, girl, 'cause they can rub your long legs. Of your hat, girl, 'cause it can kiss your forehead. Jealous of your belt, girl, 'cause it can hug your waistline. I love your waistline, I hug your waistline. Jealous of your dress, girl, 'cause it can hug your hips, yeah. Of your lipstick, 'cause it can kiss your lips, yeah. Jealous of your shoes, girl, 'cause they can kiss your toes, yeah. I love your toes, yeah. I kiss your toes, yeah. Jealous of your earrings, I wanna kiss your ears. Oh, 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 oh. Massage you from your head down to your toes. Oh no no no, oh no no no, oh no no no, hey yeah yeah yeah, oh no no no, baby girl I feel so good right now, yeah. Girl you are picture perfect, perfect picture in my eyes. Girl, you are, baby, perfect picture. Yes, you are. Make some noise for the band. Come on. Thank you very much. The band and I are having a ball. The next song I want to do for you is my current single. It's a song called Lessons. I wrote the song the morning of my anniversary. And me and my wife have been married for 13 years. Now, to be honest with you, I don't know if I wrote the song like to give me some brownie points or improvement. No, it was just, I mean, I was just kind of writing it. I think I was writing about where my life was at the time. And how fortunate we are through the ups and downs that we would still find our way to each other. And hopefully you've heard the song before, hopefully requested on the radio or whatever. But more importantly, I hope it strengthens your perception for the person in front of you, or it strengthens your faith to find the person meant for you. With that said, this song is called Lessons. Let's do it for you. God has a funny way of showing you lessons. For years I would stare up in the sky with so many questions. Like, will I find someone for me? Or even if I'm standing in the place I need to be, I can't say that every love affair I had was perfect. But every painful day and late night was worth it. Now I realize everyone that let me down led me to you. Oh baby, all them sleepless nights, all the heartbreak I had led me to you. Cause if I never went through it, I'd have never found a love like you. Ian McCauley. It's not about the past, it's all about the present. I thought love wasn't meant to be until the day I felt it from you. You gave so much to me, can't help but give it back to you. Right now I just wanna breathe and see it, live it. Oh, come on, babe, now I realize everyone that let me down led me to you. Oh, baby, all them sleepless nights, all the heartbreak I had led me to you. Cause if I never went through it, I'd have never found a love like you. The sky was always blue, so blue, but now with you, oh yeah, the sun, it seems to shine bright now, yeah. I needed ups and downs just to realize this now. And now that you're around, I truly found love. I can't help but thank God for you, baby, yeah. Now I see, now I realize everyone that let me down led me to you. Oh baby, all them sleepless nights, all the heartbreak I had led me to you, led me to you, led me, baby, to love you, baby girl, yeah, yeah. I can't believe I used to say, why me, why me, why me, why me, yeah. But see, God has a funny way of showing you lessons. Now once again, make some noise for Chris Stevens. On behalf of my band, on behalf of my staff, I want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of this amazing Spirit of Democracy Awards and the 45th anniversary of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. My name's Eric Roberson. God bless you, and good night.
Well, what can I say? What can I say? It has been, I hope you enjoyed Eric Roberson and his band, his amazing band. And it has been a pleasure serving as your moderator for the National Coalition's Spirit of Democracy Awards. Thank you for having us. We will close out with brief remarks by the National Coalition's president and CEO, my soror, my sister, my friend, Miss Melanie Campbell, and Chairman Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Thank you all for having me.
Marvelous.
Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. Thank you, Michelle, the indie mom of comedy, our senior advisor for cultural expressions and everything else, right? Production and everything else. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making. We started the beginning of the year with our 45th anniversary launch, and we're ending the year with you and all of your gifts and talents. We appreciate you so very much. Thank you to my chairman, Thomas W. Dortch Jr., for just being a rock with a lot of my shenanigans and ideas, and just tell me, just make sure you get it right, Melanie. And I appreciate you so very much. But Tommy, I want to turn it over to you, and then I'd like to just close out with thanking our team.
Well, Melanie, I can't say enough about your leadership and the sacrifices you've made over the years. And I hope everyone, let's give Melanie a virtual hug for what she does and the sacrifices and her leadership. She has led us all of these years. So we want to thank you. We want to thank the founding members who really had the vision to really come together and set us on this course to make a difference in this nation. I want to thank our phenomenal board of directors for their leadership and what they continue to do to help us move and guide this phenomenal organization. I want to thank our corporate partners and investors for what you do that allows us to do the kind of work we're able to do. To our coalition members, thank you for all that you do out there individually as an organization and collectively with us. Eric, you are phenomenal. I tell you, I got to catch you in concert somewhere soon. Michelle, you're always great, and we thank you. Thank you for joining us for this celebration, but we want to remind each and every one of you, we have so much ahead of us to do. We have the midterms that are coming up. We must make sure that we are registering people to vote, that we're doing our education, and making sure that people turn out. No matter what they put in front of us, we know that we've got to be prepared, and we've got to make sure that we're out there voting, educating, and participating, because we know if you don't vote, you don't count. So no matter what they try to do, voting is a right and a privilege, and we cannot squander that privilege. So many people sacrifice for us to have the opportunity that we have these days. And so we have to keep moving. We have to push Congress to pass the John Lewis voting rights bill, and to keep moving and making a difference. Partnerships work, and we have to keep working hand in hand. So we thank you for joining us tonight. We want to thank you for all that you do, and all our coalition members. Thank you for all our partners. So let's roll up our sleeves. Let's get ready for 2022. It's got to be a phenomenal year, and we encourage each and every one of you to stay safe, wear your mask, get your vaccine, and of course, get your boosters. We'll get past this pandemic. And remember, we've had Again, these vaccines for centuries, whether it was for polio or mumps or measles, and this vaccine didn't happen overnight. It's been 10 years in the making. So let's dispel all of these myths, make sure our loved ones and all are getting the vaccine, and let's work hand in hand. Let's make 2022 a phenomenal year, and the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation will do our part. Let's just make sure that we have government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And while democracy has been under attack, we'll defeat all of these efforts because that's what makes this nation of ours great. Stay safe. Thank you for joining us. We hope we'll continue to work hand in hand to ensure that democracy prevails. And let's understand, voting is a right and a privilege. Too many sacrifice for us to have it. Let's keep it. Stay safe and have a phenomenal holiday season. And let's make 2022 a safe and a phenomenal year for all. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Tommy. And I just want to quickly call the roll. Thank you again. Thank you to the National Coalition Board of Directors for your support and your leadership. I want to call the roll. Tanya Tyson, thank you so very much. Our Vice President for Operations and Event Management. She is Events Manager Extraordinaire. Thank you to Anthony with Reed Rodell and his team with Sansera. Thank you, Antoinette and Acacia and Josh, Michelle, Angelo, Michael, Brian, Leslie, Daryl, Dee, Judith, Keenan, Roland Martin Unfiltered. Thank you all so very much for the support. Oh, and Lisa, did not mean to leave Lisa. Lisa, thank you, because it's a team effort in pulling this off. And thank you for all who came on tonight. Thank you to our honorees. And we just wanted to show you a little love as we all continue to fight the fight to make sure. And if you want to support the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, please follow us at NCBCP. Go to our website, ncbcp.org or blackwomensroundtable.org, and join us in this fight to make sure that our voting rights are protected, make sure we turn out in record numbers, make sure that we save our democracy from peril, make sure that we celebrate each other. We're getting ready for the Black Women's Roundtable Women of Power National Summit. We're coming back live and in person at the Gaylord in the National Harbor in Maryland, and thanking Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks, who will be our honorary chair this year, March 9th through the 13th, 2022. So stay tuned and enjoy. Merry Christmas for those who celebrate Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. We love and appreciate you. We could not do it without you. So good night. And thanks again for helping us to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. And good night and enjoy your holidays. Be safe. And if you haven't gotten that vaccine, get it. Thank you. Get that shot. I think we closing out. Yeah, there he is. And we can't close out without prayer. Yes. Tony Lee.
What a fellowship, what a joy divine, what a wonderful evening of celebration, what a wonderful evening of just acknowledging so many people who are doing so much. And so we just want to close with a word of prayer. Won't you join me in prayer right now? God, we thank you for how you have been with us down through the years. God, we thank you for 45 years of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. God, we thank you, God, for great leadership down through the years. God, we pray right now that you would allow the National Coalition to continue, God, to be that beacon of hope, that beacon of strength, that beacon of light for our nation. God, we ask that you would bless Melanie Campbell as she shares in leadership. God, we ask that you would bless our board chair, Brother Thomas Dortch. And God, we are believing, God, that after 45 years, that we don't believe you brought us this far to leave us. Bless every honoree of these Spirit of Democracy Awards. Bless them in their work, bless them in their labor, bless them in their contribution to our community. And God, at the end of the day, let the works we've done speak for us, and let the works we've done transform community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Everybody have a blessed night. God bless you, and we love you.